I'm Sean Michael Andrews, and I'm here with my friend Rob Degroof of the European Hypnosis Academy, and we're going to talk a little bit about age regression, alternatives to age regression, and reasons behind these. So, for those who don't know, age regression, the model is that often trauma will happen during childhood that causes problems later in an adult's life. And when you use age regression for therapy, you hypnotize and take the person back to that earlier trauma and work that out and sort of diffuse that, and then the client gets better. But Rob, you're not a big fan of age regression.
No, actually not. It's a bit because of my mentor, Jeffrey Stevens. He always, even in his manual, he wrote that regression is actually a crime. So I'm not that big against it, but I actually don't use it. The only time I use regression is when the client really asks for it. So they really want to go back to a certain age or whatever, or they lost something, or they have hidden money in their home and they just want to find it. So that's when I use regression. I recently did a forensic regression session with somebody who woke up at the ICU and he didn't know what happened. He was beaten, but he didn't know. Actually, he was the only thing that he was afraid of, that he was the cause of the problem. So he just wanted to know, did I did something that they had a reason to beat me? And so apparently he just walked into a drugs deal. So and that's why they didn't want him as a witness, or yeah. So that's one of the times when I do regression for just normal regular hypnotherapy or change work. I use the Jeffrey Stevens protocol because of the fact that our opinion is that you don't have to go back to the initial event. Because of the fact that the subconscious mind knows what it has to do to reach the goal. So what we are doing in the Jeffrey Stevens protocol is we ask the subconscious mind to make all changes necessary to get to the goal. So we actually inform the subconscious mind of the fact that whatever it's doing, whatever the issue is, that information was there, and that the subconscious mind did a job working with the information present. But we ask the subconscious mind now to do something else, to make all the changes necessary to go to the new goal. So we give the subconscious mind new information and we say, okay, this is what you did until now, but now you can stop doing this because there is new information, and this is the goal that we want to reach. And then we ask the subconscious mind to make all the changes necessary, to take the time necessary, because we want the subconscious mind to do it as healthy, as safe, as quick as possible, but as healthy and as safe as possible. So that's actually what we're doing. So without going back, without having the person, the client, relive whatever happened or whatever might have caused the problem.
Okay, so you hypnotize them, and speaking to the subconscious mind, you acknowledge that whatever it's doing, even though it might not be helpful to the client, it's doing it pretty well. You're doing a pretty good job of ruining this person's life. Okay, so we acknowledge that, and then do we suggest it at all what the subconscious mind needs to do in order to fix the problem, or do you leave it up to the subconscious?
I leave it up to the subconscious mind. I might give the subconscious mind a few ideas to work around, but never specific ideas. So let's say weight loss. I say, okay, make changes in the eating habits, in the cravings, in water consumption. But I'm never going to say, now subconscious mind, you have him or her make to stop eating chips or something. So it's never detailed. It's never specific. So some general things I can give the subconscious mind, but most of the time I just ask the subconscious mind, okay, you now know that this information is not valid, not true anymore. This is the new information, and start doing whatever you think is needed to reach the goal. So actually the subconscious mind knows way better than we or than me, myself, or the client what needs to be done. So I just give the subconscious mind a quite direct instruction, make all the changes necessary.
Okay. Now this is pretty fast therapy, right?
Yeah. The sessions don't last long. I always use instant inductions, so there are a few deepeners going on. There's this, it's a 10-step protocol that we're using, and the actual change work is the golden box. It's one of the steps in the protocol, and the change work alone is like 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. I don't want it to be too long, because the only thing you really need to inform the subconscious mind is what is the problem, what is the new goal, and a few things that might be interesting to change, and the reasons for the change. And that's really important, because that's something that often hypnotherapists tend to forget, to convince the subconscious mind of why it should be doing this. Because you can say, okay, now I want this person to be a non-smoker, but you have to convince the subconscious mind why the information that it was working with is no longer valid, and there's new information. So why is it good for that person? And that's what keeps the change lasting. But the entire session it depends a bit on your style of hypnotizing, the way that you speak, will be between 10 and 20 minutes. So that's the length of a session.
Okay, well, let me back up a little bit. You say you convince the subconscious mind why the change is necessary. So do you mean you're saying, okay, I'm speaking to the subconscious mind, okay, if you can make this change, and you can make this change and make Mary a non-smoker, these are the benefits that Mary will gain. For instance, she will live longer, she'll have more money, she'll this, that.
Yeah.
That's so you feed that information into the subconscious mind, and then you ask it to do the fixes.
Yeah. So that actually was going on. So in the example of a non-smoker, I say, okay, until now you created this cravings, this habit of smoking. You had the information, so you actually did a good job, and actually that's what's happening. The subconscious mind told that it was doing a good job, because Mary was feeling more relaxed when she had this cigarette. When she had stress, she just took a cigarette, or she had this period in the day that she was always smoking a cigarette after a meal or whatever. So the subconscious mind did the job with the information that was there. So now I'm going to inform the subconscious mind that Mary no longer wants to be a smoker. She wants to be a non-smoker. So I'm going to tell the subconscious mind to make sure that she is a non-smoker, that she doesn't get cravings by other people who are smoking, or doesn't get the feeling, oh, I also want a cigarette, that she's not going to be that person that's against all the smokers. So I'm creating just a non-smoker that can live with other smokers, because maybe her partner or her husband is still a smoker. That she is, whenever she is presented a cigarette, that she will say, oh no, I'm a non-smoker, that she has a good feeling. And then I will convince the subconscious mind of the reasons. So I will ask Mary before the session, give me the negatives of being a smoker, give me the positives of being a non-smoker. And I use only the positives in the session, but sometimes I use the negatives to turn them over in the positive, and then I mention those to the subconscious mind. So, and the more reasons I'm provided, the more I can convince the subconscious mind. So sometimes then you need the negatives, because of the fact that your client might have never been in the situation that the problem was solved. So then you can just turn over the negatives, and then you have more reasons for the subconscious mind to make the changes and to keep those changes lasting. So that's what we're doing.
All right, so we gave a couple of examples, like for instance, weight loss and smoking. But what if somebody has a fear or a phobia or somebody? How does it work with that?
It's actually the same. The protocol works like this: you have the issue, and then you have the goal, and then you have the positives, and then you just fill in the blanks in the golden box. So with a fear, I'm just going to first say, okay, subconscious mind, and until now you created this fear of flying or whatever. And then I'm going to describe what the subconscious mind is doing, maybe sweating or just panic attacks or whatever. And then I'm going to ask the subconscious mind to give Mary, in this example, a good feeling when she's in a plane, a comfortable, a safe feeling, whatever that she's described. I'm really going to use her words. So I'm going to ask Mary, what kind of feeling do you want when you are in that plane or when you're preparing to go on a holiday? Because a lot of people, they start getting anxious even when they just buy the tickets. So,
Right.
So they start getting anxious before. So I'm just gonna ask my client, okay, just describe me how you want to feel, and then most of the time they want to feel relaxed, comfortable. But they want to go on a holiday with a good feeling. So I'm just going to ask the subconscious mind to make all changes necessary to create whatever my client wants. So that's how I'm going to. I'm really going to use her own words, and that's really important because the subconscious mind knows of what I'm talking when I use her own words.
Okay, so you've got this 10-step protocol, and so whatever problem they come in with, you take some notes and find out what would be the positives of them making the change, and what are any negatives that they have right now, no matter what the problem is: smoking, trauma, self-esteem, whatever. You plug what they tell you into the 10 steps, and then you go from there. So that's kind of interesting. I guess that'd be very helpful for a new hypnotist. That how do I do this? How do I do that? So are there any scripts involved in this?
No, there are no scripts involved. Of course, every step has his wording, his sentence, his meaning. So, but I always encourage my students to just take a look at every step and then find their own words. Just not start reading my words or Jeffrey's words or whatever it's in the manual. Just create their own words. The moment they understand what every step is for, they can create their own words. And the good thing is that they always have this blueprint in mind. So even when they go out and want to play on the street, do some street hypnosis, or at a party or whatever, they can use most of those steps and then they have an outline. So they don't have to think about that anymore. So I think it's really good that you can, especially when you're a newbie, that you can build your practice on a blueprint, that you don't have to think about what I'm going to do from induction to exduction, and that you have it in your mind. So now your focus is totally on the client and on the issue. So that's in your mind. It's like second nature. You will do your session that way, and you can focus totally on the client. There's never a script, so you even don't know to know upfront what your client is coming for. So you don't need to preparate. There's no preparation necessary. So the moment your client sits at your desk, you can ask them a few questions. We do it on the intake form. They got it the moment they have the email with the confirmation of the booking or the appointment. They fill out a few questions, and the questions are quite simple. What's your problem? And describe it in 1 or 2 words. What's the goal? Also in 1 or 2 words, and give me some moments that you don't have the problem. Sometimes it's not possible, and some things that you might change yourself to reach that goal. And then we can start. So I have never a script. I have never a pre-preparation for the session. So and you can actually address every kind of problem. Of course, in my hypnosis center in Belgium, me and my therapist, we're working with different tools as well. So we have a lot of tools in our toolbox, but most of the time, and my entire business in Belgium is built on this protocol. So this is really the foundation of my business in Belgium. And when needed, we just go in our toolbox and pick another tool. But even when I do like a virtual gastric band, or then I have my 10 steps, and I just adapt the change work to that procedure of the virtual gastric band.
Okay, and you have three hypnosis centers in Belgium?
Yeah. So
and how many hypnotists?
6.
6.
So we have a team of 7, including me. So there are 6 extra therapists. So we work in 3 different cities. In Aarschot, where the center is, where also the school is. Then we have one in the bigger cities like Ghent and Antwerp. And my goal now is to also go to the French-speaking part of Belgium. So I have a few people in mind to do that. I'm not going to do it myself because I can speak French, but I can't hypnotize in French. So it's a total different way of hypnotizing. But I have already some students who are Dutch speakers, but they actually live in the French-speaking part. So they're actually using this protocol already in French. So,
Okay.
and my goal is also to introduce this protocol to the French-speaking part of the world. So that's what we are going to do as well.
Cool. Okay, so you're going to be offering this in Hypnothoughts in August, right?
Yep, correct.
Is it pre or post conference?
It's a post-conference. It's a 2-day certification training. So we will go over the 10 steps. We will do a lot of practicing. They will see 2 videotaped sessions performed by Jeffrey Stevens. They will see a full session demonstrated by myself. And at the end of the second day, they will every student will do a full session with one of the other students. So at that time they can go out and start using the protocol. And from all the previous trainings I did in Belgium, but also in other parts of the world, I always got the feedback that a lot of even seasoned hypnotherapists take the protocol with them and start using them immediately with good results. So they start incorporating them in their practice in their hypnotherapy business.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care.